Welcome back to part 9 of Death End Request 2, where today we're heading south into a new part of the town, finally, to see what we can learn, basically, see what's there, see if there's anything suspicious, because there is some things on the map from the laptop that hinted at things being down there, so it's good to go. That being said, you might notice this video is a bit shorter than normal, and there's a good reason for that. This video, and I'll explain more if we've got a cutscene coming up, essentially went through hell for me to record. It just, everything that could go wrong did go wrong, but we've got a cutscene, so I'll talk about it more in a minute. Nighttime scares me. Maybe we should turn back, Mai. Head back then, Rotty. I'll go it alone. Hey, kidding! I'm not leaving your side, so... Shh. Is that? Someone's here. Find cover. Right, he'll surely be mad. If Headmistress Midra finds us, she'll lock us in our room for good. It sounds like torture. What are you doing up so late? The old man snuck up on me and Rossi, causing us both to scuttle back. I felt so stupid, doing exactly what I cautioned us against. Girls your age shouldn't be out this late. I'm sorry. It's dangerous. Get off to bed. Want me to escort you home? Thanks for the concern. We'll hurry home. I gave him a curt answer, took Rossi's hand, and took off in the opposite direction. Mai, you seem freaked back there. What he said was fine, but something about him was off. You think? I bet he's just concerned. Didn't you see? His eyes fell out of focus, his arms were limp, he seemed lifeless, so weird. It was the same for everyone we passed. Had you ever seen any of the people from the afternoon before, Rotty? No. I'm sure they're just strangers is all. Maybe, but whatever, forget it. Yeah, that man did seem very suspicious during this nighttime escapade. But time to go to a new area. And it's a theme that, if you kept up with all the trailers, was the very first piece of music you heard for this game. The very first opening teaser trailer played this melody. So this is the shopping district. Yep, I was hoping your first time here would be on a date. Yeah, whatever. Hey! You don't believe me, I mean it! Look me in the eye. I'm dead serious. Oh, that's right. This is practically a date night. Sure. But yeah, on the topic that I started this video on, this video is just not prepared to be nice to me. The entire recording session it felt like everything that could work against me didn't. I had to record this section 4 times. It just was not playing ball, and eventually I got one chunk of it that just kind of went well, and I went, you know what, I'm saving that, I'm keeping that. And even then it wasn't perfect. There's a piece of dialogue in this that we miss, so I have to explain what it is when we get to it. Because there's a piece of dialogue that starts up, and then I think I'm safe in an area where and an enemy just finds me. An enemy just gets me anyway, and so it interrupts the conversation. And because the conversations don't continue where they left off, I just lost that conversation. And I was like, am I really prepared to do this a 5th time? And the answer was no. Just to get that dialogue. But it's not until a little later on, so I'll explain it when we get to it, and what it basically is going on about, and what you're missing, which isn't much. A lot of the early game optional dialogues is mostly Rossi trying to flirt with Mai, and Mai either shutting her down or just ignoring her. And in that instance, it was that she just gets ignored. Because Rossi calls out the fact that Mai just keeps on walking ahead without really giving Rossi a second thought. And then Mai's just like, well, what does it matter? That's kind of the attitude she gives. But we've got some new enemies now. We're actually in a new district, so we actually get to show off more encounters. And Rossi just learned a new healing trick, so we'll have to actually try and use that at some point to learn more skills. Actually, during this video, Rossi learns a skill I never once learned on my main save, which is why when I unlock it, I'm like, what is that? And you're going to see me hover on it for a second to read it, because it's actually a new skill. You know, like, and the worst part is that it's like the only skill I'm missing for Rossi, because she's on 99% on my main save. So I'm going to have to make a mental note of the combination I just happened to do to get it, and then go do it on my main save. Because if I can help it, I want to have every single skill on at least my main save, so then once I finish this project, any skills I'm missing, I can show you on my main save. I can just load it up and be like, these are the skills I haven't got. Or didn't get, sort of thing. But I'm doubtful that will happen, because it's like I don't know what combination I'm missing to what skill I'm missing, and there's so many goddamn skills in this game. There's more skills in this than there was in the first game, simply because the main playing cast is smaller than the first game. There's only 3 significant plot characters in this game, whilst the first game had 6. And so to compensate, each character has far more on their moveset, so then they all still act as a functioning team. You're not needing to swap out anyone. Which makes it far more convenient for me, because with Death End 1, I was constantly trying to alter and change who I had as my playing cast. As you go along here, there's always a dialogue, so make sure to get it. Judging from the map, it seems to be a little bit more south. Just a little further. Oh, and that's it for that one.
I think you'll make it, Roddy.
That dialogue doesn't count. That's something she always says when you approach something Rotty can do. However, also in the first game, that I won't really be doing in this one, I might do it for a little bit, but we'll see, is just like in the first game, you can change who's your field character, who you're playing as. Here it is, I get Phoenix Tune. Phoenix Tune restores SP when you use it. So Rossi has a natural way of getting SP back. I never got that skill on my main save, so when I got it, I was like, wait, what was that? I never once on both my playthroughs on my main save got that. And I just happened to get it there, so I have to make a note of what skills I used then and make sure to go get it on my main save so I can try and show it off later on. But Rossi goes into glitch mode again because we're actually against stronger enemies again, so they're actually fighting back. We're not destroying them in one turn. And we get to see the awesome glitch forms again, which, as I've said before, I love the rework of how they go about designing the glitch forms in this game. In the first game, it was just so much make them wear as little as possible, whilst this is it's more of the sexy power fantasy that they're going on with. And it just works better. Like, taking some more inspiration from the Neptunia series just works for doing the glitch forms a lot better than what they did in the first game. And I also like, it's a small detail, and it's more to do with the element they're tied to, because Mai is tied to Moon and Rotty is tied to Sun, but Mai in her glitch form gets Rotty's colours and Rotty gets Mai's colours in her glitch form to show their more of their duality of their characters, because they play on that a lot. It's not just that they're a couple that should go together or whatever that I keep joking about. It is the fact that they are genuinely opposites, but they found a way to be friends and come closer together regardless of this. And so they have that represented of their connection yet oppositeness of nature, of having them have different colours but then become each other's colour in their more powerful form. The implication being Rotty is at her more powerful state because she has Mai, and Mai is more powerful because she has Rotty. And it's just nice to see. But it also makes, without jumping the gun and spoiling too much, the third member of the party, as much as I adore the third member, not fit in as well as these two. And it's something that I'll get into more when the character's introduced, but it does feel to a slight extent, only slight, that the game was originally, when it was made in conceptual stage at least, just going to be Mai and Rotty, and they eventually decided, no, we need an extra character because dropping it from 3 to 2 would be too noticeable. And so they added a third, and to be fair, like, they've worked the third one in nicely enough that there isn't a problem, and the character fits in nicely, and I really do like the character, but you can't help but feel like the concept changed as it went on. Who knows what this map's leading us to? And this is actually a relatively big chunk of gameplay we're getting, because we're going through the whole of the shopping district, and at the end of it we'll go into the mountain path. We're then going through an entire chunk of the mountain path before we finish the day, so we've actually got a healthy stretch of content to go through. At this stage though, you should be starting to become more wary of your side quests. Starting this chapter, as I mentioned last part, there are side quests that are going to start appearing. If you want to see more optional scenes during the day, you need to take down every single side quest as and when they become available. But also understand that some of them are New Game Plus locked, no matter what you do. So even if you do all the side quests, you'll still get 3 or 4 that you just won't get access to no matter what. Which is why I'm glad the whole system save thing that they've got going on with this, where I'm going to be able to show all of them off. Well, not every single one of them, but I'll get to that much later. We're talking like chapter 7, I think. It's either chapter 6 or chapter 7. That there's a bit much later on there where you make a decision and it affects something for the next 2 chapters and gives you an optional scene. But it's kind of just you pick which optional scene you want to see, so that we're not worrying about that yet. As we get to use Mai's glitch form again. I love the glitch form attacks as well. I feel like there's a lot more to them than the first game had. The first game felt like a little bit all of them were the same, where it was hit them a bunch of times, explosion, the end. And to be fair, Dragonstar felt victim to that too. Whilst Death End 2 tries to go a lot more out of its way to make them more stylized, like having the walk up to a fallen enemy in Final Slash with Mai, or like after all the explosions, Rossi landing on the enemy and putting one more bullet in them. Like, they try and make it a bit more stylized. Also, I went the wrong way. I accidentally got turned around. It happens sometimes. I decided to just keep it in though, so I thought, whatever. It happens. I just got turned around by that enemy, so I ended up going the wrong way for a second. There's a fake wall here, which, like I said, if you don't want to, if you're speedrunning, you can just run straight through it. You don't actually have to, if you know where the wall is, use the laptop. It's just good to get into the habit of using those computers just because of other secrets that will pop up. Here's the dialogue I was on about, where Mai ignores Rotti, and I think I'm safe from this enemy around this corner. I'm like, yeah, it'll just get stuck on the bench, it's fine. And then watch it, goes, Nyom! I'm like, oh shit! And during that fight as well, because I was debating whether or not to keep that encounter, Rossi learned Asteria as well, which is a nice skill to have, but I was just like, god damn it. But I'll try not to let that happen again, because I like having those conversations and give the characters more depth. And that's literally, the entirety of that scene is Rossi calling Mai out for ignoring her, and Mai just being like, I'm not ignoring you, what are you on about? We gotta get a move on anyway. And she goes, but you are ignoring me.
I think you'll make it.
And I like doing the voices, so I kind of want to keep them in as well. Even if Mai, arguably, is the easiest voice I've ever given. She's a moody teenager, what more do you want? She's a very tsundere, moody teenager who's got a lot of us on her back and a good chip on her shoulder. So I just do my old moody teenage voice for her, and it's fine. But Rossi, I love her energy, so I want to give her a voice of energy. So I love just doing this and just kind of, I practice. All right, don't take the piss. I do practice when I'm doing the character voices for any of the projects. I do practice for them to get a feel for how I want each character to sound. In the same vein, with Liliana, when I was doing her voice, or doing any of the orphans' voices, now that I think about it, I always try and get one. I think of it like Makoto, with her being a cultist and being a bit more whispery, and be like, have you heard about the ghost Alessiora? And I don't know where the accent came from, I've just kind of kept it. I love doing the voices. Like, it was something that I was really awkward about when I was doing Detention and Celeste way back when, but no, I live for it. I actually lean into doing more projects that have written dialogue just so I can voice the cast. The only problem is that I forgot the first game's cast voice because it's been a while. It's been a year, and so I'm not going to remember all their voices. So if a couple of them aren't as accurate as they should be, forgive me. I cut out a save there because I was that was more tied into the development issues I was having going into recording this. I just had to check that everything in the recording was fine this time around. I just had to go back and check, make sure everything was tickety-boo and how I wanted it. So I just thought, you know what, I'm going to risk it. I'm going to stop there for a second and go check through everything. Thankfully, it was as good as it was going to be. But at this point, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get to the mountain path, get to the first save point and call it a part. I know it'll be a shorter video, but necessary evil. I'll be sure to make it up to you guys with a longer part at some point. But then, to be fair, I know it's also, like, I could have got more time together to just commit to re-recording it, but I just ran out of patience, and that's entirely on me. Like, worst comes to it, I could have just not uploaded today and then just made it a bigger video tomorrow. But I'm waiting to get this done because it was starting to annoy me. It was winding me up, and I was like, I just need to get this done and out there. So it is what it is. And also, admittedly, I have been hooked on Genshin Impact quite heavily recently. Like, I've been looking forward to it, and now it's come out, I've been playing it, and I'm like, this is actually really good. And I'm having a blast with Genshin Impact, and it's kind of just, I'm a little addicted to it, so I haven't been recording as much footage of this as I should have been. But I'll get back on top of it. I love this game, so I'm always going to come back. But we're now at the town outskirts of the mountain path. I wonder how much further it is. And which also means this is going to be where I'm going to be ending our part after this conversation. This place makes my skin crawl. Are you okay? We can turn back if you like. Yeah, we're not going to do that. I'm fine. Can it? And there's also even more new enemies here, so we're going to have lots of plentiful new encounters while we're here. Why don't you flirt with me to keep your mind off of it? Yeah, like Mai knows how to flirt. Even if she wanted to, I don't think she would. Anyway, next time on Death End Request 2, we're going to be exploring the mountain path to try and find where that map's really leading. But until then, you guys take care now.